Xin chào buổi sáng tất cả mọi người. Mọi người ơi, video ngày hôm nay mình biết là một cái video được rất là nhiều người mong đợi, bởi vì là mình nhận được rất là nhiều câu hỏi từ các bạn hỏi mình là ngày trước thì bố mẹ chồng mình làm công việc gì. Đó thì hôm nay mới có dịp là ông bà nội em Kobe qua chơi ấy, với lại được thong thả một xíu á, thì mình có hỏi ý kiến ông bà nội em Kobe để làm cái video này. Thì hôm nay nhà mình sẽ trả lời cái câu hỏi này cho mọi người nhé. Mình biết là cái video này thì mọi người sẽ phải đọc cái phụ đề rất là nhiều luôn, tại vì là thực ra là mình cũng có thể hoàn toàn là chia sẻ cho mọi người bằng tiếng Việt, tại vì mẹ chồng mình với lại bố chồng mình đã kể lại cho mình rất là nhiều lần rồi đấy. Thế nhưng mà mình muốn là cho mọi người có một cái chia sẻ chân thực nhất, và bố mẹ chồng mình cũng rất là vui vẻ, tại vì hồi sáng mình hỏi là có ông bà có muốn làm cái video này không ấy, tại vì là có khán giả con hỏi rất là nhiều, thì ông bà nói ok, rất là vui vẻ luôn, rất là nhiệt tình luôn để làm video, cho nên là mọi người sẽ chịu khó đọc phụ đề một tí xíu nha.
Take one.
Ok mọi người ơi, bây giờ nha, ông bà nội em Kobe đã ở đây rồi để trả lời câu hỏi của mọi người đây. Ông bà nội có vẻ là hơi lo lắng một tí, bởi vì thực ra cái video này chỉ là chia sẻ thôi, nhưng mà ông bà cảm giác như là mình đang interview. Mình sẽ ngồi kế ông bà đi ha. Ok, mình sẽ để camera đây cho đỡ la kìa.
Alright. Okay. So my audience been asking about like what you guys did for a living before and how hard you work and to get what you get nowadays.
Okay, I worked in a medical office for 38 years total. I started out as a nurse's aide in a nursing home because that was the only job I could get in a small town. And then I stuck with that, and then I took a class called a CNA class, and then I moved to the hospital side, which was just a little bit cleaner, better work. From there I transferred. I got some college classes, and that's when the age of the computers came about, and I worked in the medical office then. And a lot of people changed jobs frequently. We stayed at the same jobs for many years, so that we built up pension funds.
What pension fund?
Pension fund is where the company pays into a fund for when you retire and quit working.
Oh, it's like what do you call it?
Like it's 401k.
401k.
It is.
Oh.
It is. It's like a 401k, except we didn't contribute to it. They did that for us. But most companies don't do that now. They offer 401ks where you can put your own savings aside, and maybe they match it. But a lot of companies don't have pension funds. So we were very fortunate with the companies that we work for. But where a lot of young people today switch jobs frequently, they don't build up that equity, or they cash them out. But we stayed with the same jobs for many years. They were very good jobs in small town, and we had our children in a school district that was a very good school district for our children. So the grandparents were there and family members, and so it was a really very good place to have good jobs and to raise our 4 children. We also had a large family, and so I would use coupons to try to save money. Coupons are like online codes are today. Every month I went one time a month to buy groceries, and I would stock up on everything that we would use, like cereal and things like that the kids would eat, and whatever I had coupons for is what we ate.
Yeah, I remember Chris told me one time that he's so embarrassed whenever he go to the supermarket with you, because you have like a long page and stuff on the coupon, and you pay by card or cash, like one time done, and then they have to go through every single coupon, right, baby?
Yeah. And then back then you could send in, like, to show loyalty to a company, you could send in money. You could send in like the little UPC codes, and then you'd get back money in the mail. So back then it was easy to do that. But I worked full time at my job, and then I did that. I would go to bed when the kids went to bed at 8:30, and I would set my alarm for 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would get up and work up my refunding and my couponing from like 1:30 till 4, and then I would go back to sleep from 4 to 7, and then get up and go to work all day, so that I didn't have to spend time away from my kids doing my second job.
Yeah. So Chris also mentioned about like you guys didn't start with you live in a very small house.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we said,
At the beginning, we started
very small house.
Modest, very modest beginning, but you guys built your empire basically.
Yeah.
Hard
We
work.
stayed. Yeah. We he had a good job.
Well, I worked for a natural gas company, and we basically installed basically all types of appliances: air conditioners, furnaces, washer and dryers, but we also installed natural gas lines to people's homes. And if people had problems with an appliance, we would go work on it and just figure out what's wrong with it and repair it. I worked for the gas company for 37 and a half years, I guess.
Wow, 37.
We could have moved anywhere, but we stayed with that company and took a lesser position because we were 10 years away from wanting to retire.
It was kind of a challenging job, but it wasn't hard.
At that point, we were moving to Hayes, and we started raising little dogs. Like we would have a 3 mama dogs and 1 boy dog, and we would have these baby puppies, and then we would sell the baby puppies, and that paid for the kids' college, and it paid for our vacations, and we paid off our home because it was extra money, but we were still working our full-time jobs, still raising our kids and going to all of their baseball, softball, football, track. We went to all of their functions. We didn't miss any of their functions. And on the off times, we were still breeding the dogs. And then on weekends, we would go and we would drive to Denver or Kansas City, which was 5 hours away one way. And we would sell the dogs to people and get the cash. And then we used that cash for savings. And then about 2 years after we started raising the dogs, the boys were, the older 2 boys were in college in Hayes. And we bought a house so that instead of paying their tuition, they paid their own tuition, but we paid for the housing. And so that's how it started with the rental. And then when the kids were done with college, we decided to keep it because it was a source of income. And like our mortgage was, say, $1,200 a month, and we got $1,100 a month in rent. So we thought, well, in 20 years, we'll retire, and in 20 years, it was on a loan, it would be paid for. Then we bought a second rental house. And we paid for that with the rent, with our paychecks, and then with our with the dog money. And so we started paying them off faster, and then we bought our third, which was a brand new, bigger unit that had 2 units in it, and we just kept doing that and saving money. But it wasn't just that we worked very hard and we made money. We also saved our money. We were very conservative. Like we weren't eating out, and we weren't having to run to the store often. So we would eat what we had, but I was very organized with that. But anyway, so that saved a lot of money because because we had our meals prepared because we were busy. And I think that if we would have gone out to eat every meal with 6 people, we wouldn't have had much money left. We did take some nice vacation. We went to Hawaii, and we went on a cruise. We went to see Chris in Las Vegas when he lived there several times. We went to California to visit Jordan when he was there. So back then, that was, we didn't have a lot of extra money or vacation days. But
that's why, like now you have time and health and travel around the world.
One day we realized that with our pensions, plus we sold our dog business, and those payments, we realized that we could retire. And so for us, it was, we want to spend our money on travel, and so we got to that point. You're going to have a lot of
back
subtitles.
Then I feel like you work like 3 part-time.
Yes, 3 full-time jobs, 3 jobs.
We have to fly everywhere to see our kids.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But
we everywhere.
Yes. So
maybe move to
Florida.
Move to New York. So that's my
wherever. Anyway, that's kind of that. But that's kind of our story. I mean, we worked really hard and stayed in a small town with a less expensive. And then when we moved to a larger town, we had a more expensive house. But it went up in value, like all of our rentals and things did. But we still had the income coming in from the rental properties, and then from the sales from our dogs, and then our Social Security kicked in. But we still have our rental money coming in. That's what we live on.
So did you,
but
when you have some difficulty with your financial before? Did you ever have to get a sponsor from the government? Like
no,
because you're raising 4 kids,
we never got sponsored from the government. We never got special help from the government. We
so they don't sponsor you guys at the time, or
no,
did you just
never
go to
have.
apply for it?
We never have. We never have. No, we never did. We always just paid our own way. We've never had to get any funds from the government ever. We never had to. We always just worked hard and paid our way and found a way to. We always figured out what we needed, and then we would need it or wanted, and then we would find the least expensive way to make that happen.
So I learned a lot of stuff from my dad, working how to repair stuff.
Yeah, working for yourself instead of hiring it done.
If you can repair stuff yourself, it's so much cheaper to
do it
than to pay
That's why we always have a list for that when you come here to help you fix this.
Like I have a lot of things in my new home. I have a beautiful new home, And a lot of the things we bought off of that were used, and we spray paint them and we make them look brand new again. So maybe I have a $5 vase that I see in the store for $80, but I look at it and I figure out how to create it for $5.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
you're very good at that, Mama.
just so it's another way of saving money, and you're going to have a lot of subtitles. But you can explain it too, maybe.
Oh yeah, I will use subtitle.
Okay. Our kids, I mean, they had to go to a babysitter when they were young. I tried to work part-time when they were really young, like with Chris and Mackenzie. I worked part-time for a few years in between there before I worked full-time, so I could be home with the kids as much as possible. But I think our kids, at the time I felt guilty for leaving my kids with a babysitter, but I always felt like I taught them that if I worked hard, we could have nice things and go nice places, and that you have to work hard to have a good life. And so I hope that I don't know, Chris could attest to that.
I definitely think you guys taught some awesome values passed on to the kids, you know. And
to work hard, and
I
they
know
had
there's a
summer
lot of
jobs.
lessons and just life lessons, you know, work ethic, stuff like that I'm going to pass on to Kobe too. But definitely learned all that stuff from you guys.
But you know, we taught them, like, you can't go to your job late. You have to show up on time to your job, and you have to work hard when you're there to keep that good job. Like we stayed with the same company. My kids, their job was school. That was their first job. But they also played sports a lot, and in the summer 2 sports. But all of the kids, from the time they were 15 years old, they had summer jobs. Like when they were out of school in the summer, they went to work the first day out of school, and they worked, and they had to save that money. We didn't let them spend it. They had to save that for their university education.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was barely 15 years old, and so was Mackenzie when they got their first jobs. Jordan was 15 too. I think Jeff was 16. And sometimes they had to pay for like maybe half of their first car. But we made them buy their own things.
By working hard.
Work and doing that and buying their own things. And
you have more respect if you have to buy it yourself for whether it's a car,
not like
a
somebody
TV,
money.
whatever.
Yeah.
Because if it's somebody just gives it to you, it's like
yeah. So there's a lot of little tiny lessons that were in between the big lessons. Like we worked hard and we had 2 businesses, and we stayed at the same companies, and it was also we used coupons, and we would maybe look and buy used things instead of new things, but we always had nice things, and the kids always dressed nice. It's not like we ever. Mackenzie said she never knew we were poor. Well, we were probably poor, but you know, she never felt like she missed out on anything. Now I don't know how the boys felt.
How the boys felt?
Did the boys feel like?
I thought we had an awesome life going on.
Yeah, I mean, look, our house in Southwich was very nice.
Oh yeah.
We paid for that. We had money. We didn't borrow money. Like we started, like we didn't go buy things until we had cash to pay for them. Like so, unless we got 0%, we didn't ever make payments. After we got more established, we would save the money and pay cash for what we had instead of borrowing money. A lot of people today borrow money, but for our last 2 houses, for the house we have now and the house that we had at the country at Hayes, we paid cash. We didn't have to take out a loan. So, and then whenever we do borrow money, we always pay extra to pay it off sooner.
And I'm really proud of you guys for putting money away every month or whatever.
And you're buying the land and
having that amount of money, you know, just to have in case you need emergency.
Yeah, thank God, because you've had it here lately.
I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. I really am.
Yeah, you guys really are very conservative, and you don't eat out a lot, and you don't spend money on things you don't need. And things,
I think we learned that from you guys too, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we just think that, you know, we maybe, you know, try to save a little bit now, and when we pay off everything and we have money, we can enjoy later when we're still young and healthy.
I think when I just talking about it, like all the little things, like I would cut his hair.
Into a barber and
37 years.
Oh, wow.
Just cut our hair too.
Yeah.
Same with
Yeah.
this guy.
But I mean, at $8 or $15 a piece, doesn't seem like much. At the end of the year, you still have saved that money, like enough to pay for a plane ticket to go to Texas to see my grandkids there, or to come to see Kobe. Anyway, did you have any questions?
Thank you so much, you guys, for helping me answer the question, because you know my audience been asking about that question a lot, and you know, like we always busy and with Kobe and with Isa and with other stuff, you know, and you help us fixing a lot of stuff in the house. So you know, like
Thank
finally
God that you know how to do that stuff. And then you teach our kids. Yeah.
Thank Dad.
Yeah, thanks,
Well,
Dad.
that's just like Chris was saying the other day. He said, you know, if if you just show me how, I can watch it, and I can probably do it myself next time.
Or we can fly back and do it again. 'Cause we like to see Kobe.
Right, baby?
Yeah.
I think I could install it now.
Okay.
I mean, I feel a lot
But it's
more
better with 2
confident
hands. It's better to have 4 hands.
doing it now
Yeah.
after watching and seeing it done.
Yeah.
It's my first house, you know, so all the repairs on it, I'm kind of like, I could probably try it, but
I
why
don't
don't I
want to
just
mess
wait
it
till
up.
Dad gets
Yeah.
here so it
He
gets
always
done
say that.
correctly.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the little yellow things?
Wire. Nuts.
That's right.
Wire nuts, yes.
Learning new words every day.
Wire nuts.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. And
Welcome. Sure.
now we're gonna hit to downtown Decatur.
And have some
Beef jerky and chicken
Thai-
wings and
Thai food.
mango. Yeah, Thai food.
And
Mango
mango
sticky
sticky rice.
Okay.
Ok, bây giờ nhà mình sẽ dẫn ông bà nội em Kobe đi tới cái trung tâm của cái thành phố mình ở đấy để ăn thử cái món Thái đó. Thì mình sẽ cho qua một cái video sau nha, tại vì mình thấy video này cũng hơi dài rồi đấy, cho mọi người dễ theo dõi nhé. Hẹn gặp lại tất cả mọi người nhé.